Boxing, often regarded as the sweet science, has a history filled with fierce rivalries, unforgettable moments, and incredible displays of athleticism and strategy. Within this storied history, certain rounds have transcended time, becoming immortalized in the sport's lore. These rounds weren't just about punches thrown or decisions made. They were about grit, determination, skill, and heart. Some rounds completely changed the trajectory of careers, while others became synonymous with pure, unadulterated excitement. We will look at some of the best rounds in boxing history, breaking down their significance, the fighters involved, and why these moments have stood the test of time. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hearns, Round 14, The War. In the world of boxing, few fights are as iconic as Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hitman Hearns on September 16, 1981. These two legends squared off in a bout for the WBC welterweight title, which would go down in history as one of the greatest fights ever. But it was round 14 that truly captured the essence of the fight. After a back-and-forth contest, with Hearns controlling much of the earlier rounds with his jab and power, Leonard found himself behind on the scorecards. His corner, led by his trainer Angelo Dundee, urged him to dig deep and create a dramatic ending. With the fight nearing its final stages, Leonard needed a knockout to win, something that seemed increasingly unlikely, as Hearns, the bigger and stronger fighter, appeared to be in control. But in the 14th round, Leonard did what only the great fighters are capable of. He rose to the occasion. Hearns, tired and hurt from Leonard's relentless pressure, found himself on the receiving end of a vicious barrage. Leonard unloaded combination with a left hook to the body and a right hook to the head, stunning Hearns, sending him reeling. In one of the most electric moments in boxing history, Leonard continued to press forward, and after a brutal exchange, Hearns was knocked down. By the end of round 14, Leonard had turned the fight around completely. He would go on to stop Hearns in the 14th round, securing one of the most memorable victories in the sport's history. This round perfectly encapsulated Leonard's ability to perform under pressure and his unrivaled will to win. Arturo Gatti versus Micky Ward. Round 9, the fight of the century. For many, the 2002 trilogy between Arturo Gatti and Micky Ward is considered the best rivalry in boxing history. Their first encounter, held on May 18, 2002, at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut, became an instant classic. While the entire fight was a brutal back-and-forth war, it was round 9 that would forever define this legendary bout. Both fighters had already endured 8 grueling rounds, with Gatti often controlling the action with his power and skill, while Ward displayed incredible heart and resilience. However, Ward was known for his ability to thrive in the later round, and he had proven time and again that he could take punishment and keep fighting. The 9th round started with both men battered and bruised, but what transpired next was pure boxing history. Round 9 was a battle of attrition. Ward, with his face already swollen and bleeding, stepped up his aggression and delivered one of the most memorable combinations of punches in boxing history. A brutal left hook from Ward sent Gatti to the rope, where Ward unleashed a flurry of hooks and uppercuts. But Gatti, true to his warrior spirit, responded with punches of his own, refusing to back down. The two fighters exchanged power shots, each one seeming to land harder than the last. As the round went on, both fighters were visibly exhausted, yet they continued to throw reckless abandon. Gatti's trainer, Buddy McGirt, could be seen pleading with his fighter to stay composed and not fall into the madness of the brawl. Despite this, Gatti stood his ground, and the two men continued to exchange punches in the middle of the ring, with the crowd roaring as the intensity reached a fever pitch. Round 9 ended, both fighters with wobbly legs, their faces bloody and battered, but their hearts undeterred. Ward went on to win the fight by a 10th round decision, but round 9 is what the fans will remember forever. It was a moment that epitomized the heart of both Gatti and Ward and solidified their legacy as two of the toughest fighters to ever step into the ring. 3. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. Round 15, the Thriller in Manila. The Thriller in Manila, held on October 1st, 1975, is widely regarded as one of the greatest fights in boxing history. The brutal 3-year rivalry between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier reached its epic conclusion in a 15-round battle that is still talked about to this day. By the time they met in Manila, Ali and Frazier had already fought once before, with Frazier winning a unanimous decision in their first bout in 1971. Ali had vowed revenge, but Frazier was a relentless force, as tough and durable as they come. This third fight between the two men would push both fighters to their absolute limits, with neither man willing to concede defeat. The 15th round of the Thriller in Manila was the climax of a brutal war that had already seen both men take unimaginable punishment. Both Ali and Frazier were exhausted, their bodies broken, their faces swollen beyond recognition. Yet in that final round, they continued to dig deep. Ali, with his famous speed and agility, had taken the earlier round, but Frazier never stopped coming. Ali had been able to taunt and evade Frazier's attacks for much of the fight, but now he was running out of gas. With less than a minute remaining in the final round, Ali, his body covered in sweat and blood, had nothing left but willpower. And yet as Frazier closed in, Ali unleashed a final flurry of punches. His jab landed cleanly. His right hand connected with Frazier's chin, and Ali's heart, a symbol of unyielding determination, shone through. Frazier, nearly blind in one eye and barely able to see, remained defiant and took everything Ali had left. As the bell rang to end the 15th round, both men were spent. The fight had taken its toll. Frazier's trainer, Eddie Futch, seeing that his fighter could no longer continue, stopped the fight, declaring Ali the winner by technical knockout. It was a victory that seemed like a personal triumph for Ali, but the real victory was the incredible display of grit, courage, and heart that both men had shown in that final, legendary round. Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Hearns, Round 1, The War. April 15th, 1985. Is a date that will forever be etched in the minds of boxing. On this day, two of the most ferocious fighters of their generation, Marvin "Marvelous" Hagler and Thomas "Hitman" Hearns, squared off in one of the most thrilling bouts in boxing history. While the fight was scheduled for 12 rounds, it was round one that captured the world's attention and became an instant classic. Both Hagler and Hearns were legendary champions. Hagler, the undisputed middleweight champion, was known for his relentless pressure and granite chin. Hearns, the knockout artist from Detroit, was known for his power and blistering combination. When the bell rang to start the first round, it was clear from the outset that neither man was interested in a tactical bout. They were in search of a knockout. Round 1 of this fight was pure mayhem. The two men came out swinging, with Hearns looking to establish his jab, while Hagler relentlessly pressured his opponent. Hearns' punches were fast and explosive, but Hagler, ever the consummate warrior, took the hits and continued to press forward. The two fighters exchanged bombs, with both landing clean punches that would have knocked most fighters out cold. At one point, Hearns rocked Hagler with a right hand, but Hagler didn't flinch. Instead, he countered with a left hook that staggered Hearns. By the end of round 1, both fighters were bloody, with Hearns suffering a significant cut over his right eye. Despite this, neither man backed down. The sheer intensity and ferocity of the action in round 1 of this fight remains one of the most memorable and exciting moments in boxing history. The fight would go on to end in the 3rd round, with Hagler knocking Hearns out, but round 1 will always be remembered as one of the greatest in boxing history. Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas, round 10. The unthinkable. February 11th, 1990 is a day boxing fans will never forget. Mike Tyson, the undefeated and undisputed heavyweight champion, was considered invincible. His ferocious knockouts and unrelenting power had made him the most feared fighter in the world. But on this night, he faced a challenger in Buster Douglas, who was seemingly written off by the boxing world. Tyson was cruising through his career, having dominated opponents with his explosive power. However, in this fight, Tyson didn't look like himself. Douglas, on the other hand, was determined to prove he belonged at the top of the division. In round 10, after a dramatic back and forth, Tyson was knocked out, shocking the world in one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. Tyson had been knocked down earlier in the fight, and Douglas was in full control by round 10. In one of the most dramatic moments in boxing, Tyson was finally dropped to the canvas in the 10th round after Douglas delivered a powerful uppercut. Tyson struggled to get back to his feet, but it was clear that his reign was over. Douglas, with his trainer's encouragement, finished Tyson off in that final round, securing a victory that would forever be remembered as one of boxing's biggest surprises. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button for more future videos.